no, who wants to play as a Drake? But no, they're going to have very strong element resistances.
Will there be a means of marking the map? Like some sort of mechanism to like mark the map, whether like it would be in real life, like somebody would, some animal would use scat to mark the map for territory.
I think we just had that question, but no.
I guess this also goes with probably scent. They're going to be like scent tracking mechanics.
We do plan on having a scent system. How it's going to work, we don't know yet.
Will there be caves in high places, say on the side of a mountain, and that you had to fly to?
I love caves. So
you're not the only one.
I love caves. I'm gonna, if you don't know that, know this now. I love caves, and there's gonna be a lot of caves in the game. So,
big dragon people.
Everybody's like caves, yes.
Yes, caves, woohoo! All right, let's see. Chara asks, early access survival games, no matter how unique the idea, have a history of either becoming too ambitious to ever finish or development slowing until no mutable process is ever made. What makes Day of Dragons different from other early access games?
Well, this is my first Kickstarter game, my first game, of program software. This is a whole lot funner. I'm not a quitter. I finish what I start. I think probably a lot of Kickstarter or early access games, I think they stop or they fail because it was just a couple friends. They got together. They had what they thought was a cool idea. They did it as a weekend job, and they didn't really have a vision for it. So, this game, I want to see it succeed. I don't want. I don't like failure. I don't want it to fail. I got over 8,000 people that are, said, hey, we believe in you. We like your game, your idea, and we want to support you. So I got 8,000 plus people counting on me to get this thing done and make it work. So I guess you just gotta either believe I'm going to do it or not. I can promise you all day long, just like everybody else has done, that I'm going to finish it. But in the end, you just got to see what I've done already, see what I'm doing, and then have faith of, what's going to come down the road.
Will certain dragons have special abilities like camo, invisibility, or mimicking, or other?
They already do.
You mentioned.
Oh.
Yeah, you mentioned that you all are gonna die. What will be the cycle of growing from an egg to an hatchling to teen to adult and finally to elder? Estimated time to keep it reasonable and entertaining.
Was that like all one question, or were there like?
No, yeah, that was like one question.
I think they were just asking about how long.
You mentioned that we're all gonna die. What will be the cycle of growing from an egg to an hatchling to teen to adult and finally to elder? Estimated time to keep it reasonable and entertaining.
There's not going to be like a life cycle. You're not going to a game message pops up and says, well, you've been alive for 180 hours, and your dragon is now died of old age. Nothing like that. So you could, like, if you're lucky and good, I guess you could have like one dragon that you begin to grow on November 21st, 2019, and if there's never a server wipe and the server never restarts a year later, you still have that same dragon. So, dragons aren't going to die on their own as long as you keep them fed and watered. Your dragon's not going to die unless somebody kills you. But as far as like growth times, we've already told people that, smaller dragons probably around 1 hour, larger dragons around 3 hours. The supersized dragons like the behemoth ice drake, it's going to be a lot longer than 3 hours, because with that dragon, we're basically giving you an out-of-the-box alpha class. So it's going to have to take a really long time for you to get it to max growth. That way you have to earn, you have to work for it and earn that kind of power.
Silver Siren asks, a pretty fun question. It says, what dragon are you personally looking forward to the most?
All of them.
I knew you were going to say that.
I mean, you look at, you like watch all these, like Peach Dragon, Elliot, I don't know what kind of dragon he was, but he was a cool, friendly dragon. And you watch, these other movies, How to Train Your Dragon movies, Aragon, Lord of the Rings with Smaug, and there's all kinds of cool dragons out there. But this game, it's like every one of these dragons are going to be my baby, because I want to have a hand in what they look like, how they, what their abilities are. And of course I have Bad Parrot and I got Gia that, all going to be throwing in input, and the other devs, and we're all going to be like, and we're going to listen and see what the community's wanting. And but so it's like you are hand making all of these, so these dragons don't even exist yet, but they're going to, so they're all going to be cool.
How many per group in like a dragon? How many dragons per group?
No limit.
Mr. Panini asks, what's the biggest breakthrough that you've accomplished this week?
The biggest breakthrough I've accomplished this week is probably the biome travel system. That's before the devs were teleporting themselves to the redwoods. And like I said, the redwood map that's in the game right now is just a placeholder map. And I put that in there so I could get the biome travel. As I was working that, you have to have another biome in there to test the biome travel system. And then Kickstarter kind of blew up, and then the streamers wanted to see other cool stuff, and I was like, well, you can look at this, but it's a little buggy right now. But this week we got the actual biome travel system in,
which I just showcased right now.
And basically the world, and I don't know any other game that's doing this, at least not games where you host the game on a dedicated server, but in Day of Dragons, I can stack as many 20k by 20k biomes in there as I want to, and they're, you don't see them, but they're there because they're not loaded onto the client until you travel to them through the portal, and then it takes you into that biome, and then it's, you see all the players that are in that that biome with you, but most games they have one map, and then they kind of mix all their biomes together on that one map, and that one map is loaded all the time, and different biome or different map, you have to switch the maps out. But the system I have put into the game allows me to put all these biomes in the same world on the same dedicated box, and allows users to travel between them. And before, when you went to the redwoods, there was like this swaying. You'd like try to be moving forward, and you kind of move to the side a little bit. The movement was a little sloppy, but all that's been fixed, and it's all now live on the beta server right now. And yes, this means loading screens. You have to have loading screens with this.
Okay. I know you already talked about like environmental destruction, but somebody did ask a good question about the behemoth drakes. How will they be able to get around a forest? Because they asked if they were able to knock down trees, but since you said no, how will they be able to get around?
I could disable collision on trees for them. That's one way. Another way would be, keep them in an icy biome, and maybe not bring them to the redwoods. So
then, if that's the case, how big are they planned on being compared to current alpha dragon size?
They're going to be big. I don't know how big, but big.
Big. That's going to be intimidating, it sounds like.
How dependent will hatchling be on their parents? What kind of features will hatchling have?
Hatchlings can bite and try to eat, kill little AI critters or other hatchlings for food, but they can't breathe fire and they can't fly, so they would be best off, with a mother or parents or a group or something like that to look after them until they grow up.
Let's see. I know you said that when the model gets replaced, you're going to have like the 3 main dragons. But the Kickstarter backers were wondering if, since there are special skins for the backers, is there going to be a special? Are you going to put like the first one in for like the Wyvern model, since it's being replaced, so something's there for the Kickstarter backers at the beginning?
All right, the question is there going to be special skins for the Kickstarter backers
like
with the current model?
Something from the get-go for
no. The Kickstarter backers are probably not going to get their backer rewards until next year sometime. So you basically have to make the dragons, and then you have to model them, and you have to animate them and texture them. And when they are getting textured, that's when all the skins get made. So I can add the feature into the game at any time, where the skin selection would be at the character screen, but the actual skin itself or dragon wouldn't actually be in until the dragon's made. So
for PvP, will there be a hitbox system, like more damage to head versus tail?
I don't know, because I don't know. I mean, probably not. You're not like shooting somebody through the head and trying to get a headshot, and hitting their brain. You're biting them. So the dragon has a skull, so you had to have to crush through the skull, or bleed them out. And fire isn't gonna. Fire won't matter. If you hit them in the head or the tail or the leg, it's still going to burn them. So I don't see us having a aim for the head type game. And one of the things with those types of games, some people are really good at going for headshots. Some people get hacks or bots or special controllers or something that aim for the head. And so probably not. I don't see us doing like a specific area of damage. It's probably going to just be a hitbox. You hit the thing, and depending on what kind of damage you do, that's how much damage it'll take. After subtracting from the resistances.
Will there be any rules on the official servers?
We don't plan on having any kind of like gameplay rules. We're gonna have like chat rules on the servers. You're not gonna be able to call people obscene things, and just common sense stuff on the chat servers, or on the official servers as far as chatting goes. And if we find that there's some way of people are griefing other people, we would make a rule against that. If they're exploiting the game or cheating, that stuff, of course, is going to be against the rules. But as far as like gameplay, forcing people to play a certain way or preventing people from, killing each other, we're not going to have any kind of rules like that.
Will there be something more to play than dragons, elementals, and behemoths?
Dragons and elementals are confirmed as playable creatures. Maybe AI in the future. Maybe we'll start having playable AI maybe in the future.
What will make gameplay in Day of Dragons different than other survival games? And will there be anything for story aspects of the game?
I don't think any survival game has gameplay that's really different than any other survival game. They all take elements from the survival genre. So you have to eat, you have to drink, you have to survive. But each studio, each developer has their own way of making that happen and making it fun. So this is Day of Dragons is my take on a survival game. Some people might like it, some people might not. I can't say that that the survival genre, or eating and drinking and combat and all that stuff, I can't claim that as being my idea, because it's been around for many years. You look at games like DayZ and Rust and Ark, and there's so many survival games out there, and it's just going to be my take on the survival series.
I guess what would make it different is the fact that it has dragons in it. Can we expect baby carrying in this game post-release?
I would like to add the ability for parents to pick up their babies and fly them away. So that's something that I would like to do.
Will there be certain areas that only certain dragons can get to? For example, inside a volcano, only fire dragons have that have the heat resistance, or for deep water that only aquatic dragons have the oxygen ability or capacity for?
That sounds like an exploration question, and those kinds of questions I'm not going to answer because I want you to play the game, explore, and find out for yourself if there's areas where only somebody that's a 100% immune to fire can get to. So,
since drakes can't fly, will they be able to climb up vertical cliffs and such?
I don't know if we're going to do like cliff or tree climbing. If we did, it would be, you know, probably not until 2021. I'll think about it, but definitely not anytime soon.
Is Gia going to make all new art for the dragons, or are you going to use some of his existing art?
Most of the stuff we're going to have him do is brand new stuff. We're probably going to use a lot of his creatures for AI because they're already really amazing. But I think just most all, if not all, of the dragons and elementals are going to be brand new stuff that not stuff he's already made, but stuff he makes just for us.
Are there any plans to have a rarity system within breeding?
I think somebody already asked that question.
Oh crap, that's marked. Sorry about that. Is it possible for other means for hatchlings to be different in some way from the parent?
They will be different in that their stats will be different. They're going to look like one of their parents. And if it's you know, they might not look like either one of them. You know, maybe there's special skins that only exist when one skin is bred with another skin that, you know, people are just going to have to play the game to discover.
How closely do you look at the suggestion chat?
There's too much chat on our Discord for me to keep up with it all. I quit keeping up with most of it probably 2 weeks ago. It's taken up too much time reading everything. So there's people that read the suggestions and then they contact, you know, if it's a good idea, they run it by me. But most, you know, other than the private channels that only the staff have access to, I read the Kickstarter Backers Club a lot because I'm interested in what our backers are, you know, what they think, you know, how they're feeling, things like that. I visit the English chat every now and then. That's about it, really. I would visit all the other language chats, but I don't know what you guys are saying, so.
Since there will be loading screens between the biomes, what will stop the players fleeing from dragons from continuously traveling between the biomes to avoid death?
When you go through a biome, it spits you out in one of several random places in the other biome, and there's no portal where it spits you out, so you can't just get spit out of the portal and then jump right back in the portal. It's not a two-way portal, it's a one-way portal. So you go through a portal, it spits you out in a biome somewhere, and then you got to find, if you want to go back to that biome, you have to find a portal that takes you back to that biome, and it's not going to be right by the one that, there won't be a portal right where you came back out of, so you can't just, oh no, there's a behemoth ice drake here, run, go back through the port. No, you can't do that. So And when you go through a portal, you're immune to damage until you finish loading. So somebody can't just kill you while you're loading back in the game. But as soon as you're done loading, you become vulnerable. So I'm going to try to keep the portal locations in an area, but there's no matter how I do biome travel, there's going to be people trying to camp the travel points or claiming travel points as territory and trying to keep people from going. So there's going to be multiple ways to get into a different biome. It's not going to be just like this is the only portal to get to the redwoods, because that would just break the game.
Says, will the NPCs be inspired by other mythological creatures, or will they all be custom?
The NPCs are AI creatures in the game. A lot of them, I think we're just going to buy the exclusive rights from Jia Hao, because he's already concepted some really amazing looking creatures that would fit right into our mythological, legendary type lore setting in our game, or alien, whatever you want to call it, not of Earth, but yet earthly. And a lot of his artwork is, it's like he looks at this animal and this animal and this animal and this animal, and he puts them all together and makes a new animal. So, his stuff's really good.
Will there be body carrying through the air? He says, I know body dragging is confirmed, but what about transporting food through the air using your feet, claws, talons, etc.?
I don't know. I don't know yet. It's something I'd have to think about if I want people to be able to carry corpses around.
Will there be battle damage like missing limbs that you don't get back and scars that you will keep?
Maybe. Making scars, permanent. It's something that's doable. I just don't know if I want to do that yet or not. If I do, it's something that I'd add on my cool feature list, which would come after everything else that's on the schedule is done. So.
Will broken wings be a thing?
I'm sorry. Well, what?
Broken wings.
There's definitely going to be debilitating damage. It's going to keep you from being able to fly, maybe limping. That's definitely something I'd like to add as broken wings, and visual animation, which I may or may not already have for the current dragon models.
Is weather gonna affect on the map, like lightning strike hitting a tree, making them burn or fall, or windstorms making trees fall over, etc.?
That kind of stuff, and knocking trees down when you walk through them, and that's kind of stuff that you mostly see on single player games. Because when you do that kind of stuff on a multiplayer game, it has to replicate that to everybody who's in the vicinity, and that kind of stuff eats up a lot of bandwidth. So I don't know. I don't know if maybe way in the future, but performance is very important to me. I want to try to get as many people on servers as I can. So things like that eat up bandwidth, just for some visual effect. I'm going to take performance over visual effects any day. So
Top Cookie Raider